bumping away and steaming for all to see. El Cachorro, El Cachorro. There's a dawn of superheroes here today for you and me. El Cachorro, El Cachorro.
What's up, Cachorrites? Welcome back to another El Cachorro vs. Anime, our second episode. So, as mentioned, this one's a little different from Dawn to Dawn, which had that sci-fi action element. This one still has an action kung fu element, but it gets a little crazy in its synopsis. So this is one where I saw the Netflix description and was like, this sounds ridiculously stupid. I want to watch it. So we put it on, and it's about kung fu and it's action. It's got comedy. But at the heart, it is a romance between a girl and a boy who sometimes is a girl. So where we go with that? We are talking about Ranma 1/2. To my knowledge, is how I guess you say it. Not sure what. So, crazy. Which is actually I find out later is a remake of an old anime, and is based off a manga, as well. It's just a lot of ridiculous, over-the-top situations, and of him overcoming battles and opponents that want to fight him, as well as romance interests that cup in there. Whoop, let's put that over there. There we go. So it's got 2 seasons. The second season just recently wrapped. I'm trying to get the trailer to play. Whoop. Boom. So the second season just recently wrapped, so we just finished it. But just crazy hijinks. Like I said, the main character is cursed. So apparently there's these hot spring areas in China where each one has a different curse attached to it from something that drowned in there. Our main character fell in one of the curse and got the curse of the drowned girl. His father fell in the one where the curse of the drowned panda. So whenever they're hit with cold water, they transform. And then they have to get splashed with hot water in order to turn back to their other self, to their old selves. So this obviously leads to a lot of hijinks as we get a lot of other characters and get introduced and have also seemingly fell into these hot springs. A lot of martial arts fighting style stuff, and everything turns into a big. Everything is about martial arts battling, so there's a lot of fighting, and then a lot of other suitors trying to break up our main characters. So we go to our character list here. So our main characters are Ranma and Akane. They are the daughters. Ranma is the son of Genma, and Akane and her sisters Napiko and Kasumi are the daughters of Son, who runs his own dojo. So in order to save his dojo, he makes a deal with them to betroth their children to each other, to be married, to keep running the dojo. And the 2 other sisters, not wanting to be betrothed, push it on their younger sister, who is kind of a man-hater. It's hypothetically anti-love. And so, these 2 get betrothed, and most of the show is about them trying to connect in a romantic way, but always kind of stopping it and butting heads with each other while dealing with our opponents. One of which is Kuno, goes to her school and has like been trying to get with her himself. He promises his love to her. He obviously finds Ranma as a rival, but when Ranma turns into his female form, he finds that girl absolutely attractive and beautiful, and now he also loves the pigtail girl as well, not knowing that they're the same. Somehow he's never put it together that they're the same person. Then Ranma has a rival named Riego, who comes in, he's got a habit of he's very bad with directions and he gets lost all the time. They were supposed to meet and have a battle. Rama waited 3 days for him. He took many weeks to get there. So he finally shows up to continue his battle. He also has visited the hot springs and he fell into the spring of the drowned piglet. Turns out he fell in there when Rama and his dad were sparring in their alternate form. So because of Ranma, he also gets the pig where he gets turned into a baby pig. And over time, he also develops feelings for Akane and wants to take her away from Ranma, which leads to some hijinks back and forth. So those are her two main alternate love interests. Ranma here gets two of his own in Shampoo, an Amazon warrior that in his female form he defeated her in a tournament so that him and his father could get access to get the food that was the prize money, which then now makes her put a curse on the female form of Ranma that she's going to she's going to kill that version. But then she meets the male version of Ranma and falls in love with the male version of Ranma until she finally realizes that they're the same person. She also visits the Chinese Springs and falls into the curse of the drowned cat. So now when she gets special water, she turns into a cat, which we find out at the beginning of season 2 is Ranma's biggest fear is cats. So whenever she turns into his cat, he freaks out. The other female is, I think it's her, right? Yeah. Her name seems off there. Is Okeo, who there was a plot error because at the beginning of the first episode, it was about them picking which daughter was going to marry Ranma. But then it turns out that there's always been betrothed for this longest time. And in this episode about where the father, her father owns like a food wagon thing. So he makes a deal with her father to get to betroth these two to each other, so he could also get access to the food wagon. But when asked which one he wants to be married to, Ranma picked Akane as a baby, as a little child, when he was like an itty bitty kid. So kind of continuity error there, which causes them to take his father to steal the food cart pretty much and take off and leave her behind. So she ends up tracking him down, as she's also his other betrothed. And some hijinks, obviously, this obviously causes some there. So we have a couple love triangles going on. And then we get the third option. So then the mix up things a little bit more. We get Moose, who's in love with Shampoo, who wants to take out Ranma so he can have Shampoo. So this is all kinds of hijinks here. It's like everything. I don't know, I didn't even mention some of the other characters. Like Tofu is a doctor that she's got a crush on, but she ends up giving up that crush because it becomes evident that he's crushing on one of her sisters. Kuno has a sister that's also tries to get involved and causes some hijinks as well. Don't remember that character. And then we also have the two weird grandpa, and so he's like the master of their style, and she is her grandma, which also causes all kinds of problems. So there's all kind of ridiculous stuff there. Romantical hijinks. As for the typical fan service, I mean, outside of making the girls super cute, the only one that really is when Rama turns into his female form, he happens to be naked a lot and shows, and so you kind of see him in his female form naked a lot, but they kind of blur out the spots and they don't really actually draw the naked person parts on there. But other than that, it's actually not too heavily serviced on trying to be like super out there with the fan service. As I've learned is the terminology they use there. So it doesn't really impede on that. It sticks pretty much to the comedy, and as the story goes on, I mean, obviously they keep butting heads, but there's moments where you can see that each one does actually have feelings for the other, has developed feelings for the other one. Kind of like it if they would go and just put them together as a couple and let them work on things together instead of going that typical anime style of will they, won't they, kind of get together kind of thing forever. So it's clear they have feelings for each other. It's clear she don't want anything to do with him. She sort of had, nothing, anything too major with him, but she sort of, likes him though. He has pretty much rejected both of them too, pretty much up. He said he's not really focused on love. He focuses more on his karate and kung fu. But there are moments where he shows his weakness to that he has feelings for her. So it shows ridiculously over the top with a lot of its crazy, but it's got some really cool, fun martial arts. It's got good action, a funny story, and the characters are, for the most part, enjoyable characters. So I totally got into this, enjoyed it. As I said, the cool thing, I don't know if I mentioned it. The Japanese, I haven't listened to the Japanese language version, but it actually brings back the cast from the original anime, which aired like 30 years ago. So a lot of them come back and reprise their roles. So that's pretty good voice work. Those were on this. Yeah, making sure I didn't record a video with those getting cut off. So it's pretty cool that they bring back their voice acting. So let's see. The big things to talk about is we get introduced to the characters and their ability to change forms when they're splashed with cold water. Then we get the Kuno arc where Ranma has to face off with Kuno and find out that Connie's always fighting off all the boys. There's the scenes where Ryogo shows up. Leads to that battle. And there's the battle against Kuno's sister hits up. Then there's the battle against the figure skaters. And then this is where Shampoo gets into the picture. With the hijinks of Shampoo wanting to kill one part of Rama while falling in love with the other part of Rama until she finally revealed that they are the same person. Then she starts to try to sabotage all of them as well. She wants to break up Akane and Rama so she can Rama to herself. Season 2, where we find out about the cat. That's where Moose comes in to try and steal back Shampoo from Ranma. Ranma gets stuck for a while in his female form, thanks to a curse from the granny. So it leads to a couple of stints where he's trying to find a way to be able to turn back to his boy self. Should we get some antics but between that before he's stuck in his female form? Then we have a couple filler episodes. We get introduced to the girl from Rama's past that he was also betrothed to without his knowledge. Everybody's fighting over to be Romeo and kind of rules the play. Leads to the final arc is Moose kidnaps Akane and is holding her hostage to get Ranma to show up so they could fight him to death. Now Moose has fallen into the curse of the drowned duck, so when he's wet he turns into a duck. But he's also took a lot of that water because his goal is to he wants to spray Ranma with the cursed duck, so I guess he would turn into a duck instead of a girl, or I have no idea how that will work. And he's starting to hit Akane with it. During the fight, at the very end, Akane does get hit with the water, and it's believed that and then Ranma, by accident, Ranma finds her as a duck, so it goes through the whole final episode of him feeling remorse and regret for her turning into a duck, and then when he tries to hit her with hot water, she won't turn back. So the hijinks, and they're gonna force the marriage to him as a duck, and then we find out it was actually regular water, and he actually found a real duck, and Akane was to the side, and she shows up, and they had their little breakout thing. Like I said, that was kind of a lovely moment where you saw Rama felt regret and bad, and he actually had feelings for Akane, and it felt like they could, I guess I know they want to just tag it along, but I don't feel like this is one where you could put them together. You could make them a couple, and they could deal with the hijinks and stuff like that together, but I know that's not how things work. So this is definitely a fun show. I really enjoyed this one. So we'll be doing a 5 rating system, I think. Dan's clearly better. As I said, that's close to, I guess, close to a 5 as I could possibly get it. Rama's definitely a 4. It's a fun, quirky show. Politically correctness, I don't know, since it's about a boy who gets wet and transforms into a girl. So I don't know if that's being taken over, how that's viewed in that world. But both characters are played pretty strong, and both have weaknesses. But there's a lot of times where he has to turn into the girl to do some big scenes and fight scenes and stuff like that, and adapting to being able to tone his craft as in his female form as well as his male form. So all you guys see at the end, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 characters that all have a curse on them. So they all transform. So we have girl, panda, piglet, cat, duck. So these things, they're giving everybody kind of weird turning powers. I think you kind of can only give that to so many people, though. Season 3 so far has not been officially announced. There's rumors that there's supposed to be a big announcement coming in, I think, March. So a lot of people think that's going to have something to do with Season 3 then. I mean, from all I see, the show has been pretty popular. Its IMDb rating is like an 8, I think. 7.9. So the show is pretty popular. Or pretty liked. Yes, I guess it doesn't mean everybody's watching, but the people that are watching it have liked it. Yeah, sorry, it's getting late when I'm recording this. But yeah, so definitely enjoyed this one. Like I said, it's got some, it's got the good action. It's got some good drama and the romance part's pretty good between the two characters. You kind of wanted to pull them out. The ridiculous situations are fun that they deal with, and over the topness. As I said, this was what I sounded like. It sounded like it was going to be an over the top anime, and it is a ridiculously over the top anime. So definitely recommend this. It's on Netflix, like I said, both seasons. So I definitely really enjoyed this one too. And this one will lead us to where we go for our third one, because our next episode will focus on anime that was suggested after I finished an episode of season 2 on this one. So you watch a episode, finish something on Netflix, and then it'll pop up a bunch of little options for you to watch next. So our next show was one of those options. That's a big tease for you. So keep tuning in, and like I said, like, comment if you watched it, what your thoughts were. If there's, I have a shit ton of these things I've now been favoriting. I've seen videos of things suggesting ones, and some are more weird, some are crazy, some are risque, some are action packed. So I've been making this on my watcher that I'm using to watch most of the stuff on, since it's Crunchyroll's too expensive. I have a huge bookmarks list of these things I'm going to try and get through. Since I'm become hooked on anime from apparently. But yeah, so we will wrap the video. Get this, yeah, I don't know, 20-minute mark. Cool. But yeah, if, like, comment, subscribe. If you thought this crazy little show was pretty good too. Until next time, Cachorro out.